Hey Doll Baddies, so in today's video we finna be doing a closure install. So I'll be showing y'all the braid pattern first and then the install after. So right now I'm doing a right side part, curved side part at that, and I'm just sectioning my client's hair. And this is a braid pattern for thin hair, so if you are working with thin hair, this is a tutorial you could go based off of what you should do and how your braid pattern should be and techniques to use. Okay, so right now I'm going ahead and parting off our anchor braids because, of course, anchor braids are extremely essential, being the fact that we will be sewing this wig down as well. So right now I'm going to go ahead and make me part for the anchor, and I'm adding braiding hair. And as I'm going along braiding the braiding hair with her real hair, I will be doing like a feeding method, as you can see right here, and I'm adding it because you don't want to start with a heavy amount of braiding hair because you don't want it to be bulky, because that's the front of the hair, that's where you're gonna see the closure at. So as you're going along, as you're braiding down, you just feed the hair in. And this, a lot of tutorials, it's basically the feeding technique. Obviously it ain't got to be stitched to perfection because these foundation braids, ain't nobody gonna see them. It ain't got to be stitched or nothing, but you just add in the hair so that you can build up hair, so when you're braiding down, like, you have a good amount of braid. So you can't just braid the anchor braids, especially on thin hair, with just their natural hair, because when you sewing the wig down, you do not want all that weight and that pressure on their real natural hair. So the braiding hair will help give the braid some weight, so when you do sew it down, it's not tension, it's not pulling, and they're still obviously gonna conserve their edges and stuff like that. So that's why I'm adding braiding hair, because we want the thread to have something to grip on, because the thread is what's holding the wig onto the person's head. So that's why that's important. And then you want to also make sure you bring it around to the bottom in the nape area, your anchor braid, because that will begin sewn down. And y'all know anchor braids are so essential. I always use them no matter what type of hairstyle I'm doing. An anchor braid is needed. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do the other side, and I'm just sectioning it out. And the sections of the parts, especially the anchor braids, is a little bit tad bigger because, again, we are working on thinner hair, so you need enough hair to braid, and then also add the braiding hair. So you don't want the sections to be super thin, but just check it out. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same what I did to the other side. I'm gonna start off with the braiding hair and just start by braiding it, making sure it's flat. And as I'm braiding along, I'm gonna go ahead and add more braiding hair, and you just want to go ahead and braid down to the sides and bring it back to the nape area, and then you want to go ahead and connect those braids together. So that's part one, the anchor braids. This is what the wig is going to be sewn down to. And if the client don't want that wig sewn down, that's cool, but you still need to do them anchor braids because it's a very good perimeter protecting, securing, like, all that. Key to a nice foundation is them anchor braids, and then everything else just follows. So now I'm going back again and making sure I got my part still intact. You just want to refine it and making sure that you're not losing your part of, exactly where your wig going to be at. So I just cleaned it up a little bit, and then now I'm going to go ahead and do another section, and we are going to begin just braiding the hair down. And I'm sectioning, going all the way down to the nape area, so all the braids should be reaching towards the bottom, except the one you're going to see on the other side, but we ain't get there yet. Okay, sweets? So I'm gonna go ahead and start braiding, and my parting space is a little bit more bigger than I would do it on more of a fuller head, because obviously, once again, it's more thinner hair, so you can make the parts a little bit bigger for several reasons, because they still gonna be flat at the end of the day, make your life easier, and also your client, because when they taking out their hair after, when it's time to take it out, they don't want to be taking out 16 braids. That ain't the move, because you could get the same results if you put a good 8 braids, cut that in half, or 6 braid, or whatever the case may be. And of course, I'm looping the hair, and you want to loop it because you do want an ending braid. We are going to have one ending braid, but yeah, so let me show y'all. This side, it didn't reach, obviously, and I already know that it wasn't going to reach because I've been doing this, it's like second nature to me. So if you do run into this issue, just go ahead and braid that second braid all the way down to the ends, and when you do your third braid, as you see, I just connected it to intertwine it together, and I didn't do the loop up version. I looped it up the nape braid so that could be you know, taken away now, and then I'm just going to braid all the way down. So for instance, you see that second braid, do not go ahead and loop it up. No, you're going to bring it down, so when you do the next braid, just bring it down and connect it so it could be all one straight braid, because if you loop it up, it's going to make a bulk, it's going to have a space, and if you was to do a sewing, that ain't it, because what you're going to sew on when you have that space because you looped up. So just bring it all the way down. And then you just want to continue the motion once you did that and loop up. Okay, boom. So the longer the hair, the higher you will loop, but do not go past your crown. And the shorter your hair, when I say loop, is intertwining the braids together so you can have one ending braid. And the shorter the hair, the more lower towards the nape in the back that you're going to loop at, because the hair is shorter. So you got to bring the braid down a little bit down. And then once you get far enough so that you can loop the braid, that's where you're gonna loop at the bottom. I hope that did not just confuse y'all, but I did see that I had a comment like, you know, her hair was so full, etc., like it ain't giving an effect that it need to. I was adding water because her hair was blown out and my hands were so dry. I really can't work with dry hair and my hands was dry, so I need some type of moisture so I can have a nice grip. So that is why I'm adding water, because to give her hair a little bit back some more texture. But the longer the hair, the higher you're going to loop up, but do not go past the crown. You should not be looping up past the back of your ears, because if you do, say you was doing a frontal or a closure, it's not going to be flat. So be mindful. If your hair is, you know, to your bra, to your, like, you know, bra length, that's a good one. Making sure you're not going past. You're just going to have to make the braids so much more smaller, but do not go past the back of your ear, because you is not going to have a flat foundation. Okay, to solve your issue, make the braids smaller. Yes, it's more time consuming. Yes, your braid powder might be an hour and 30 minutes, but you're going to get the same effect. Just got to go in smaller sections. So right now we went ahead and finished our braid pattern. As y'all can see, you know, we got sections a little bit bigger because we can do that with this kind of hair. And then, well, density, should I say, density of hair. And then right now I'm just oiling the scalp, and I didn't fast forward this because this is super satisfying to me. I love doing it because I know how it feels, and it's really a lot of clients' favorite part. We're gonna watch this in real time. Okay, the oil I'm using is what she brung, so I don't even know the name. I ain't gonna hold y'all, but I'll probably put it in the description because I'll get it for y'all. And then I did add a little bit of oil in her part of where her side part is going to be. If you are going to do that, please do not add a lot of oil, please, because that oil will seep through that cap and it will also seep through your lace, and that ain't cute. So if you're gonna put some, and sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. If you do decide to add oil to this part, whether it's a middle part because they're getting a middle part or a side part because they're getting a side part, please do not drench that part with oil. You could drench everything else except them edges too, the hairline, because you don't want your wig cap to slip, but please be mindful. So now we're going to go ahead and do our ball cap method, and those two white dots right there is where the closure is going to be placed at. So that's, you know, my key to know, okay, boom, obviously that's how far the closure going to be. So how much got to be glued to put on the forehead so that we can do our ball cap method. Make sure you sew down the wig cap so there is no shifting, no movement while your client is wearing their unit. And yeah, we are going to be using adhesive tape. This is an alternative. If you don't want to use glue, you could use tape. It's cleaner to remove. It's quicker than glue. You ain't gotta wait for that to get tacky. Y'all about to see, you place it on, y'all about to see when I get there. If I get there, okay, baby, we there. So go ahead and remove the coating on the top. So you're gonna open up the glue. It's like a double stick and adhesive glue for hair that you can get at your local beauty supply store. Once you place it where you want to, they're gonna go ahead and pull back the white strip on the hair. And then once you go ahead and do that, I did 3 pieces, and we're gonna go ahead now and pull up the wig. In any place that the tape is not adhered at, you're just going to go ahead and take some, got to be like I'm doing right here, and got to be those little corners that are still lifting down. But the rest of the closure is stuck down with the adhesive tape. So if you want to use that, you definitely can. It's way more quicker, easier. You could touch it up yourself. You know, it's just another alternative for those who are not really glue lovers or feel like it's too messy or it's this and it's that. You can't get the tape wet, but hey, so I went ahead and added some foundation to, you know, color correct again more of the closure. And now we're gonna go ahead and sew our wig down. After you do your first two little stitches, through the closure, you're going to need to place your finger underneath that cap and feel where that braid at and where the needle going through, because you don't want to be poking. You're going to be poking yourself doing this more than your client, which is totally fine, okay? Because you don't want to be picking at their scalp. That ain't a good feeling. So I'm having my finger underneath, touching the braid and touching the needle of where the needle is at, feeling the needle go through the braid and then looping it back into the cap. Usually I just do like counterclockwise. I just do one big circle when I have a long thread, but because I guess the thread was just too short, I went ahead and just started from the other side and then let them meet from the back. So that's what I'm doing right now, just sewing down this wig on them ankle braids that we created. So that's, you know, another reason why they so essential, because look at that. You want your wig sewn down? Get your wig sewn down. And that's the only thing that's getting sewn down. You know, it's like, y'all, if y'all not getting custom closure wigs, if y'all not wearing wigs and y'all still getting sewing, sis, if this don't make you want to change your life, at this point, I don't know what to tell you. But no, boom. So my baby feeling herself. We're going ahead and doing our little baby hairs. We almost done. Because this is really so much easier, quicker than a sewing, like a custom closure wig. You can't go wrong. And baby, these last 2 years if you take real good care of it. And you could always switch out the closure, get it redone, use the same bundles. Like, it's so versatile. Custom units, you could control the density, you could do so much rather than buying already pre-made wigs. But that's another story for another day. So go ahead and wet up your deep wave. That's what I'm doing with a little spray bottle. Dredge it up all good, comb out the curls, make them all nice and uniform. And I am also going to add some free sprays, because y'all know curly hair do have flyaways. And then I have a wet paper towel to clean up the gots to be, because sometimes they get on the skin and it just leave like a little residue that ain't cute. So you want to make sure you clean it up, clean up your client real nice and stuff. And that does basically sum up this video. If y'all have any comments, questions, or concerns, y'all already know the deal to go ahead and put that down below, and I will check y'all out in the next one. Okay, let's go, Baddie. Let's go, Baddie. Let's go, Baddie. Hey.